do you think it would take to make your neighbors mad enough to try to kill you? Or maybe the more interesting question is, what would it take to make you mad enough to want to kill your neighbor? My mother had some truly dark days when the neighbor next door bought a pet rooster who believed it was his personal job to summon the sun at 4 a.m. But trying to throw a guy you once babysat off a cliff is an extreme reaction, even with roosters factored in. And what makes this even stranger is that this response seems to come out of nowhere. One moment, Jesus' friends and neighbors and second cousins are all loving him. They're big fans of his announcement that God has sent him to heal and liberate. And then, the next thing you know, they're chasing him toward a cliff edge. Jesus seems like a pretty good guy. So why does everybody who knows him suddenly want him dead? When Jesus starts describing his mission of bringing healing and freedom, everyone gets all excited. They start going through their mental laundry list of all the things they'd like to see God do for them if God is going to act. I want God to make our nation prosperous again and put better politicians in charge. I want God to give my cousin Joey a better job and heal Uncle Bobby's toe. And while we're at it, it would be great if God would increase my salary enough that I could afford to buy a new donkey, because my current one's starting to look a little bit lopsided. But then Jesus' speech takes an unexpected turn. He says to them, I imagine you're all going to say, that sounds great, Jesus. Do all that good stuff right here in your own hometown. But the truth is, you're not going to like what I'm actually planning. Then Jesus goes on to remind them of two famous Bible stories. In one story, a terrible famine has struck the nation of Israel. Many citizens are hungry, and God sends God's representative, the prophet Elijah, to feed a poor foreigner. In another story, in a time when many people in Israel had skin diseases, God sends a prophet to heal the skin of the commander of an enemy army. Jesus' point is pretty clear to everyone listening. God isn't just coming to bless them, the good people of Nazareth. God has sent Jesus to help strangers, foreigners, even people they hate. When human beings invent religions, they tend to follow a certain pattern. We create gods that love the people we love and hate the people we hate. We create gods who promise special blessings to the real insiders. We politely agree not to say this out loud, but deep down we all secretly know that the world map should center on our little village and its concerns. And Jesus has the nerve to suggest to his friends and neighbors that God doesn't just want to bless them. God also cares about the healing and freedom of the people across the aisle, across the border, across the world, in cities they don't know or understand or even care about. God might even want to heal the commander of an opposing army. All that would have been bad enough on its own to get Jesus in real trouble. But then Jesus pushes it even further. What Jesus tells his hometown isn't just that God cares about other people too. He suggests that God's care for other people might just cost them something. This is what really pushes them over the edge. I mean, when have you ever heard a politician or preacher say, I want to do something good for those people over there, and doing that means you people over here might have to give some comforts up. Congratulations, Jesus. You've just cracked the code on how to kill a campaign with a single sentence. The truth is, Jesus doesn't seem to have much patience for religion that can't get over itself, for believing that your personal blessing or rescue is the end of the story. It's for you and me, but it's not all about us. It's also about what foreigners need. It's about what our enemies need. What Jesus' hometown neighbors have completely missed about God is that the more of an insider you become, the more responsibility you have to care about the needs of the outsiders. The more you've been blessed, the more responsible you are for giving blessing away. If God shows up at your house with a semi-truck full of chocolate, you should just go ahead and assume it isn't just there for you. The first question we might ask is, who else is this meant for? And the second question is, will they need something else to help wash this chocolate down? And is there anything in my house that I can share so that they can have a drink? Love it or hate it, Jesus says, this is how it works. No one can receive miracles who isn't also prepared to give miracles away. Let's read Luke 4, verses 20 to 30. Everyone spoke well of Jesus and were amazed by the gracious words that came from his lips. How can this be? They asked. Isn't this Joseph's son? Then he said, you will undoubtedly quote me this proverb, physician, heal yourself, meaning, do the miracles here in your hometown like you did in Capernaum. But I tell you the truth, no prophet is accepted in his hometown. Certainly there were many needy widows in Israel in Elijah's time, when the heavens were closed for 3.5 years, and a severe famine devastated the land. Yet Elijah was not sent to any one of them. He was sent instead to a foreigner, a widow of Zarephath in the land of Sidon. And there were many lepers in Israel at the time of the prophet Elisha, but the only one healed was Naaman, a Syrian. When they heard this, the people in the synagogue were furious. Jumping up, they mobbed Jesus and forced him to the edge of the hill on which the town was built. They intended to push him over the cliff, but he passed right through the crowd and went on his way. I'm Megan Larissa Good, and this is Reading Jesus. If you'd like to join me in conversation, you can look for the Luke 4 post at patreon.com/JesusCollectiveCommunity. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.